So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I have three members from the band Nepenthe, which is a doom metal band with some black metal elements from Canada. And I have three members of the band here with me. So, first of all, how are you guys today?
Good.
Very
How are
good.
you?
Thanks, Hector.
Doing pretty good, yeah.
I'm good. I was trying to say the name, but my first language is Spanish, and it's kind of hard to say
Yeah,
your
it's a weird name. You're not the only one that gets it wrong, but it's pronounced Nepenthe.
Well,
Nepenthe.
actually,
Okay.
that's not quite true. Like
Well,
the ancient
Oh,
Greek sort of pronunciation is Nepenthe, but we say Nepenthe because we think it sounds better.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
like to bastardize things with our English, so our
yeah,
our
I like
terrible,
Nepenthe.
terrible Southern Ontario
So
accents. Sorry.
I like how you say Nepenthe. I like Scott's interpretation of how he says it. So yeah. So
yeah.
I have three members of the band with me. So yeah, let's go counterclockwise. Say your name and what you do in the band.
Uh,
Um, I
you go
guess
first.
okay, yeah, sure. I'm Chris. I play bass in the band. I also do the recording and kind of help out with back behind the scenes with management and stuff like that.
Okay.
Uh, I'm Scott. I play guitar in the band and write the riffs for the most part, not all
For
of
the
them.
most. And we have Conrad last.
Yeah, I'm Conrad, and I am the official skin hitter drummer, and I do vocals and write lyrics and write the odd riff.
Awesome. So you guys for this album, so you decided to take an EP that you have for this year and your debut in 2020 and combine it at one album. Uh, which like why did you came up with that idea? Because I have thoughts. Maybe it's because 2020 sucked. So you're like, maybe some people didn't even notice that we dropped music in 2020. So let's put it in a joint release so people can listen to this music. Was like, maybe I'm wrong, but what was the idea of like combining this EP and your debut?
Well, it just sort of like made more sense putting our music on a physical format to give people a
Mhm.
little more bang for their buck. Like putting it on vinyl, you need a certain length of music to put on it, and both those EPs pretty much lined up to the length of a vinyl, so it just made more sense to put them together that way. And like thematically, those EPs have a fair amount in common, like tonally. So we felt like it wouldn't be too weird to put them together like that. So it just sort of worked out that way.
Yeah, makes sense
Yeah,
because when I
to
was listening to them, it sounded like the two were very cohesive in sound. Sorry, Conrad, I cut you off before you talk.
oh, it's okay. I was just gonna add to what Scott said. Like part of the reason why we did that too was because we felt that we're with new material that we're writing, so stuff that's still unreleased as of now. We are trying to go into a different sound and a different, not necessarily a different style, but we are trying to experiment with new things. So we felt that by releasing the new EP with Elegies, it was kind of a way to tie off that era in a way, if
Mhm.
you want to say that. So it was just it was a way of us getting ideas out that we felt were not yet complete, I suppose, because we weren't able to release a full length at that time. So we wanted to, it was kind of a send off to that way of doing things, I suppose. Things are going to be fairly different in the future.
Okay. And by the way, we have the second guitarist join. Steven, how are
Hey
you?
there. Hi there. Sorry for being late. I just, had to download Zoom. I got a new computer a little while ago. Forgot it didn't have Zoom on it. So, like, can you hear me fine? And
No, you
Yes,
You're
sound
good.
good.
yes.
cool.
That
Well,
you're casually late, but
yeah, perfect, perfect.
that's
He was
As
okay.
per
breaking his
usual, not
back
gonna
for the
lie.
man.
Yeah, I had a long work day, and then I just, like I said, I logged on a little late, and I just didn't have Zoom. So yeah,
No, that's okay, man. No worries. So yeah, we just been talking a few minutes. So we're talking about, like yeah, you guys combined your 2020 release with DCP, but it makes sense because to have it as a physical format. And I was saying before Conrad talked that I listened to it as a whole, and it sounded pretty cohesive. Like it made sense. It sounded like one album. Like if I didn't know the
awesome,
background of the story that there was a 2020 album and this, I would have never known. And I knew because it
perfect,
said that, you put it out on 2020. And I had ideas that, 2020 was such a sucky year that is that a lot of like music that came out that year would go like in a black hole because people would forget it because of all the things that was going on. But
for
yeah,
sure.
it sounds
Oh,
pretty
so
yeah, it sounds
Awesome.
pretty
That's
cohesive.
the best thing to hear because I joined the band a little after that first album was made. So we had a separate guitarist. His name was Sam. I don't know if we said that yet, but I joined a little after that first EP was made, and so I'm only on, I guess, the first half of the latest release because I do all the
Oh,
rhythm guitars for the newest songs, like Unfamiliar Shores and all the other stuff on that one. So the first one, Dawn and Elegies and all those songs are the original. Well, it's a lot of Scott, but it's also a good amount of Sam, the original rhythm guitarist who does all like the main rhythms and stuff.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna the question I was gonna ask you if you re-recorded those songs, but no.
No,
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 You
no.
left
we
them
we
as is.
just we just got the pre-masters from the audio engineer that we worked with, Alex Snape of Pneumatic Arts, and we got
Shout
them
out to Alex. He's the
remastered.
man.
Shout out to Alex, he's a great guy. And we got them remastered by the fellow. I always forget how to pronounce his audio engineering business name, but he's
Bogdan,
he's the man
Bogdan
behind
Makarov.
Skyforce and Abstract Void, a couple big like Black Gaze bands that are prominent. And he did the master for the new EP and remastered the original EP to kind of make it sound a little closer without doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this year has been a year, there's been a lot of like good Doom album releases. And I know that I've actually interviewed some of the bands who are in your label. So I think I talked to Fawn, I talked to a few bands I talked to Calm. So
Yeah,
a lot of the
Calm's really good. I
bands,
really like them.
yeah. And also Locust and Honey. So I basically interviewed half of the bands that are on that label, and all the albums, like very strong releases. So pretty good stuff. So I know Conrad said that you write some of the lyrics to the band.
Conrad writes
Oh
all the
yeah,
lyrics for the
I write.
band.
Yeah. Conrad's like the main, if not the sole lyricist, pretty much.
Yeah, I write all the lyrics and some of the music too. The vast majority of the music is Scott, though.
Yeah. And you told me that you sing too, right? A little
Sorry.
bit. That you told me that you sing too. You
Oh,
sing parts of
Conrad
the
is
song.
he's the main
Yeah,
vocalist,
and
so
the
he sings
vocalist.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
basically, you're like a Phil Collins of Doom.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. I've
yeah.
never
People
heard
have
that.
said
That's a
that
great way
before.
to put
Yeah.
it, actually. Holy shit.
I love
Yeah.
that.
You just put
Yeah,
Conrad in a new light for me.
yeah. Well, it's not always that you have a drummer that sings, it's like it's not always the case. So that's pretty interesting, like to have a drummer that's also the lyricist. So I think I can name just a handful of bands that do that. So Conrad, tell me a little bit about the themes that you explore on these two. Well, I should say it's a full album now.
Yeah, so I would say that the themes are fairly close between the two. I mean, I guess it's just habit, but I tend to write about a lot of the same stuff. And I mean, the new EP as well is we wrote at least upon these unfamiliar shores, the first track that was written pretty shortly after Elegies of Loss and Doom was released. So it's old material if you want to call it that, but essentially both EPs explore themes of loss, as the name would imply, I suppose, loss,
Yeah.
depression, and love, specifically the negative effects that love can have on people. And yeah, I guess that's the main part of it. It's mainly an exploration of those negative emotions, but also from the perspective of creating something beautiful from those emotions.
Yeah, because when I was listening to the record, especially that song that there's a video for it, like a lyric video, it's pretty beautiful in parts. And, that's why there's doom, there's black metal, but there's like pretty elements to it. Uh, so for you guys, the other people in the band, Conrad writing this, like, tell me a little bit about like your contributions to the material.
A lot of what happens with how we write is that Scott will come up with some riffs at home and then he'll bring them to the band and we'll just jam on those riffs and see if we can start at least slowly start building a song structure from that. And the rest of our input normally comes in with how we organize and structure the song rather than like um decisions of like how riffs should be played. A lot of most of the all that work is done by Scott, just him, just at home, just getting pissed off playing guitar. Um, but we organize the songs as a band to jam them out. So, and songs often go through like a very big change from when they first come to the band versus how they end up on the recording. Our songs are constantly evolving, like at the core. It's almost weird for a band of our style to exist as a jam band, but we're very much a jam band to figure things out.
We also scrapped so much stuff. Like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
said this before too. We had at one point almost an entire album's worth of material, but we just felt like it wasn't good enough, so we got rid of all of it.
Hmm.
Like
Oh,
maybe
wow.
there's
Like
some remnants of it on our new stuff, but it's for the most part we got rid of all of it.
like listening to the old demos from those songs, there are riffs that we used in songs we've written since. So it wasn't a complete waste of time, but it just didn't work out into something cohesive.
Yeah. And like we'll come together at practice, like Chris said, and we'll like just get ideas together and then we'll kind of like we all have different tastes. So we'll all be like, I like that riff. I don't like this riff. Maybe we could try that riff after that riff, you know what I mean? Or this riff or we yada yada. So it's like pretty it can be just like nice when it comes to writing the stuff because well I don't have to do much because Scott writes a lot of the stuff and like that's it's been reliably really good, so I just don't want to mess with that sound since I've been like a newer member, but it's just a good kind of cohesive like mentality on the music in general, or we all kind of know relatively where we want the sound to go. We're also super okay with it going in different directions as long as it's relatively within the confines of like the sound that we're trying to capture, which is like at this point for between the four of us, it's like unspoken. We know like what the sound is. It just needs to be created first, and then we agree on it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So the the songs on the last EP, when did you work on those songs?
I the opening song Dawn was the first song we ever wrote as a band. Like we came together in 2018 rehearsing in my parents' basement and stuff like that, and it was we were under a different name at that time too. Um, and that we went through some growing pains with that and it kind of we didn't really know what we wanted to do. Uh, but the first song we wrote after that was Dawn. Conrad had previously had the song Lethean Mist written that we kind of reworked a little bit to fit what we wanted to go for a direction.
Mhm.
Drowning Naked Light was finished being written 2 weeks before we started recording.
Yeah,
Um,
that one was pretty frantic. Like, I need to get this
yeah,
done.
yeah, we had another song lined up to record for the EP, and we ended up scrapping that song entirely and replaced it with
Oh
Drowning
yeah.
Naked Light. Um, and then Elegies of Loss and Doom was also a song that Conrad had previously had written that we used for the band as well. Um, but Dawn was kind of our first collective writing under Nepenthe.
Yeah. What was the name that you had before Nepenthe?
It was Skaldic. So in high school, I had a really, really bad and
Galdic,
awful.
not
Uh,
Skaldic.
I say Skaldic. It's others might pronounce it differently. It comes from
We need
Well, if
Norse
you say
a
rats.
Skaldic, it
thesaurus.
sounds like Skull Dick.
Yeah, skull
Yeah,
and
but
dick.
no,
Yeah.
it's like
Uh, But it was like a high school
yeah.
music project of mine that I met Scott in high school, and then we decided that we wanted to do music and form a band. We posted out on like a local Facebook group looking for a black metal drummer. Conrad was the first one to respond, and he was just the perfect fit, and we've been really best friends ever since for that. Um, but it started out as a high school project called Skaldic that was crap, and please never look it up.
It's still on Bandcamp.
It is still on
Yeah, yeah.
Bandcamp.
You should
Yeah.
look it up.
Yeah.
Interesting. So people can still find it. So
Yeah.
so when did you guys decide, like Conrad, when did you decide that you would do the singing for this project?
Uh, that was pretty fast, but I mean, I guess it was a gradual shift. Chris originally did most of the vocals when we were still known as Skaldic. Um, but
Yeah, that sounds like a
I
death
think
metal
part of it.
band name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
the first name sound like a death metal or Viking metal type of name.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
Yeah,
within
yeah,
that
for sure. Yeah.
thematically.
And we
But
still have like old recordings from an EP we recorded back then that have like the old like second wave style black metal stuff on it, but we just never put it out.
yeah. But I did the vocals in the very beginning, and Conrad did the vocals on the song that he had written because we also had Lethean Mist from the very beginning as well. So he always did vocals on that one. But over time, I wrecked my voice doing the harsh vocals, and Conrad was way better at doing vocals live than I am, and he's
I
able
think
to
it was
clean sing.
also Yeah, it was also the fact that we wanted to add a lot of clean singing to our
Yeah.
music. And I think it was even just the fact that having a singer drummer is kind of a good gimmick. So like
Oh yeah, yeah.
a lot of
It's very
people like
cool.
to see that, I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't want to
Yeah,
sing.
I think Tomb Mold also the drummer sings too.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Cool.
yeah.
I
I've
didn't
Yeah,
seen
know
them
that.
I
live
just
actually.
remember.
It's insane that he can pull off like such technical drumming and still do vocals.
Yeah, no, but well, yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty hard because let's face it. I think drumming is the hardest instrument because,
Yeah,
like
it's like
a
definitely the
guitar
most
player,
physical.
you
Like,
you're going like this, and I would forget lyrics, and
Yeah. Oh, sometimes it
Oh,
still
I do
amazes me just
sometimes.
seeing a blast beat and then do a harsh vocals on top of that and stuff like that. It's
yeah, you could go
like
like,
how the
"Grr,"
how
and
the
you'll
hell
be
are
like
you
this.
doing that?
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so you guys obviously had that, and then Conrad became the singer. So I want to show the artwork of like I don't know, it's built as a compilation, whatever, of the album. Here it is. Let's talk about the artwork, which is pretty cool.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
let me know first of all what you were trying to convey with the artwork.
So
Oh,
what we did, and it kind of like leans off of what we did for the first EP, is that we worked with an artist in Toronto that it's also plays in some bands around here. And we basically just gave him the EP and gave him
them of
some
Teleportis. Shout out.
yeah, Adam,
Mhm.
he's a great guy, amazing artist. But we gave him like some key symbols that we wanted in the artwork, and we gave him the music and said, "Come up with something, whatever you think is fitting." And he
No
came up with
pressure.
original art with yeah, he came up with the original artwork for Elegies of Loss and Doom, and we, in a sense, did the same thing again for this one with having some themes of the flowers and whatnot, and Conrad can speak more on that. But
Mhm.
this is what he came up with, and we're very happy with it.
Yeah, it looks cool. Connor, what do you think?
Well, I wouldn't say
All
it's kind of surface level meaning wise, I suppose. Like the so for this art for Fading Promise, it's we mainly went with like poisonous plants. So there's the main plants in it are wolfsbane flowers and wormwood, which is kind of in the mouth area there. So it's I guess it's supposed to go off the theme of like love being a poison, essentially. And then for the first album, it's mainly poppies. So poppies are the main ingredient of opium and heroin and whatnot. So it's kind of it's more of like the destructive nature of depression, I suppose you could say. But it's all pretty surface level. I'm not claiming to that we had any deep meaning to the art, but it's just the main thing was just to make sure it aesthetically matched the music, and I think it achieves that.
Big time.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool artwork, and I think it goes with the like with the themes of the record. So, did you read a book that is about plants? Because I read like 4 years ago, I read a book about like it was all like the like what plants do for you, and it got all the poppy seeds and that thing. So I was thinking maybe Conrad read that book. I'm trying to remember the book, but I can't remember now.
I don't really read botany books, so
Yeah,
I
it was.
did do quite a bit of surface level Wikipedia research though. That's about the extent of that.
Yeah, I tried to remember the name of the book. I'll remember later because I read it like a long time ago. So the metaphor of the plants and love being a poison and you being the main writer, Conrad, what happened to you, man? Who did you wrong?
Uh, I don't really want to talk about it.
No, it's a
Yeah.
joke. Don't worry, man. I can relate. I'm divorced. So
I'll drink to that.
Women,
yes,
am
like
I right?
yes, love is pretty at the beginning, but then it can turn ugly at some parts. But yeah,
I
no, I
think
like the
most of it
meta.
is just
Yeah,
oh, most
no,
of it
no, go
is
ahead.
just I've always been a pretty negative and miserable person to some extent.
You're
So like,
sensitive down deep
and
down
I'm
there though.
sensitive, yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess it's just what comes out.
It's it's
There's not
it's
really
it's the
more to it than
core
that.
of we're profoundly miserable people, and this is just what comes out.
Yeah, we're all
Yes.
sensitive in the band for sure.
Yeah.
To different extents. We show it in
Yeah.
other ways.
Nice. So you guys growing up because everyone said that they had like different taste in music. Like, what music got you into heavy stuff, like bands or?
Honestly, I personally started with my intro into heavy music was oddly enough like prog rock. Like I had an uncle who this isn't prog rock per se, but my first intro to rock in general was Jimi Hendrix. My uncle for a birthday one year gave me a mix CD of Jimi Hendrix, and then I got into Rush, and I was listening to a lot of prog metal in high school, but then I just discovered it was actually the Atmospheric Black Metal Albums YouTube channel, and
Oh,
I
nice.
got really into bands like Agalock and Gree from Quebec, and yeah, so it just kind of spiraled out from there, and then I got into like depressive black metal, and yeah.
Like you like Life Lover and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, I love Life Lover, Abyssic Hate, Make a Change, Kill
Leviathan.
Yourself,
What's that one band that you like? Leviathan,
Leviathan.
right? Yeah.
Leviathan's like
There you go.
up
There you
there.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gree,
Angry
Gree
too.
too.
Yeah. Grease up there.
Yeah,
Nice.
Awesome.
that's me.
What about you, Scott?
Well, I guess like growing up, my dad played a lot of just like classic rock type of stuff, like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and whatever. But I didn't really get an interest in music until like my brother was like a big CD collector, and I just root through all this stuff and find all these random metal albums and just rip them onto my computer. And the start of that was like listening to like Mastodon, Opeth, Typo Negative, stuff like that. And I eventually got into like stuff that's more in the style that we play now, like Agalloch, Falls of Rhoros, sort of in that direction. But yeah, that's mostly how I got into it.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
I grew up listening to like heavy stuff. My parents are also divorced, but every time I go over to my mom's house, she'd be playing like Evanescence, Slipknot, like industrial metal, like Ministry and stuff like that. Like the first song I ever knew the lyrics to was "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor." So it was always kind of around growing up. Um, and then I kind of rediscovered like Iron Maiden, Metallica when I was like in grade three, and I just kind of consistently was listening to stuff like that and just got progressively heavier and heavier and heavier, and then really got into black metal in high school. And it's just been like a spiraling down of just more depressive music.
Hmm.
Oh, awesome. So that leaves Steven. I don't know why, Steven, but you have the look like you started with some metalcore. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Okay, maybe like a little bit, like, but
yeah.
not mainly. My dad was my main influence in like what kind of styles of music I listened to, and he listened to everything from like Beach Boys to like Slayer and Hellhammer, and then like Ted Nugent and stuff like that. So I would wake up in the mornings on the weekends, him cleaning the house to like Stranglehold or like Cat Scratch Fever, or like Rain and Blood and all that stuff. And so I would, those were kind of my main influences. So I'd say like the first
Pet
kind of
Shop Boys
heavy,
and Slayer.
yeah, and like so
No, Beach
Slayer,
Boys. You said Beach Boys, not
yeah,
Pet
Beach
Shop
Boys,
Boys.
yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, yeah, Beach Boys.
Yeah.
But Slayer was probably the first influence on heavy music for me and all that stuff. So I got into that, and then in high school I joined another metal band, and then that got me more into metal because I was into kind of like psychedelic Pink Floyd type Tame Impala music when I was in high school. And then at the end of high school, I got into a metal band and then got more into death metal, like Black Dahlia Murder and stuff like that. But I was familiar with Slayer for a long time, but I never got was too into metal until the end of high school. So and so yeah,
Okay.
Slayer was kind of the initial beginnings.
Yeah. Cool. Everyone has like their different like taste and things. So this, you're putting this out physically now. What's next once you put this out physically? Do you have some shows planned in the near future for this?
We have a
Yeah,
show
actually,
tomorrow night.
this Friday. So tomorrow, sorry, Chris.
It's all good.
So
Go
tomorrow
for it.
we're doing our EP release show at Futhark Records in Toronto, which shout out to Futhark Records in general. It's probably the best metal shop in Southern Ontario.
If
Klaus
not
is a
like the
great guy.
only, I don't really know of any other ones.
Yeah,
Probably,
it's like the
yeah,
only
it might even be
soul.
the only solely metal shop. But and then the next day we're doing another EP release show at Jimmy Jazz in Guelph, our hometown show. So yeah, we got a
Just like
couple
a
things
dive
planned. I
bar.
don't know
It's
if
gonna
you
be a
got
free
anything to add
show.
there,
So
Chris.
Yeah. So this weekend
It's,
you're
both
going
are
to
free
be,
shows as well.
Yeah.
yeah. And
oh, both
after
for
this,
free. Okay,
after that
cool.
weekend, what are the future plans?
Hopefully write a couple more songs so we can finish off the album that we're working on. I
Oh,
think the current plan is that we're gonna kind of take a bit of a break from playing shows and try to hammer out some more songs and maybe start doing some more shows in March
Yeah,
is
well,
what
we
okay.
have
So
like
you're working
two
on
or
newer
three
music. Is
songs.
it gonna be a full length or an EP?
yeah, that's the current plan. It's gonna be a full length.
We have
Um,
about like two or three songs right now, I think, at this point.
Or
yeah, three or four songs.
Three or
Yeah.
four. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's a Canada. I'm sure it gets so fucking cold that it's great to write some depressive music in the winter. Uh,
Yeah, the winter time will probably help with that.
Yeah, it's getting to the right season. It's gonna
don't
be
don't
nice
hate
and
me.
dreary.
but I'll probably go to the beach this weekend because I live in Puerto Rico.
I get it,
Yeah.
man. Fuck,
I see,
get
and
it.
I'm
I'm
just waiting for
envious.
snow. I just want the snow already. It's been
Yeah, no,
teasing us for
I
weeks and
love
weeks, and
hot.
I just want snow, man.
I'm
I'm
so
just
Yeah.
into
so
hot
ready.
weather. I'm fucking.
Winters
I'm
here
not
can
about
be
that.
brutal, but you know what? The bad thing is like it's fucking hot here all year
Yeah.
round. So it's sometimes it sucks when it's like 85 or 87 in December. I want it to be cooler. So
Hey, man,
it's
I'd
hot
I'd
here
much
all
rather be sweating my balls off than freezing my nuts off.
Oh, I'd rather freeze my nuts off every day.
I'm used to Caribbean weather, but yeah, it can be draining as well. So yeah, you're gonna have some shows this weekend. So are you gonna have like the physical copies of the album for people to
Yep.
get at the shows?
Yes.
Yep. We are, well,
Awesome.
yeah, we're gonna get them that day. So
Yeah, we're getting them Friday. We're meeting
The
up
vinyls?
with the label.
Yeah.
And then we're having like a bit of a release party at the record store with an in-store set. Um,
Hell
just
yeah.
just like a hangout. Gonna do like a quick little thing there.
We'd get
Um,
fucked up.
yeah, that's gonna be Saturday for us. Like we're just gonna try and get blasted.
Yeah.
So yeah, seems like it's gonna be a good time. Uh, and then after that, you'll be working on your music. Like in lyrically at least Conrad, is it gonna be like different themes for what you're plan on working, or are you gonna keep the themes from these similar themes to what you've been written?
similar themes, but a lot of what I've written so far for the album is maybe a bit less abstract and it's going into
Mhm.
more personal experiences.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I am trying to expand in that sense. I want to write more yeah, I just want to write more personally, I suppose. That's really just what has come out so far. There's still some abstract stuff, but yeah, I
Okay.
guess that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
It's still gonna be melancholy and
Nah, man. Next themes are just gonna be about chicks and drinking beer
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
dude. No, I
and
lied.
making
It's
money.
all gonna be beer and chicks
Yeah.
and money. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's gonna be a Motley Crue inspired album.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Just straight
Because
80s
we hit
worship.
it big already.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Our goal, yeah, our goal, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we make so much money with this, it's crazy.
You can write a book, The Dirt, but your version. But no, I actually that type of music it's can get so boring so quickly. So it's more interesting music with substance and like the metaphors of like the plants with love and stuff. Like, yeah, that's pretty, it's interesting. So
Agreed.
yeah, so that's gonna be out this Friday. People in Canada, you can catch them live and the music. So before I let you guys go, anything that you like to say to the people before we go?
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys check us out. I hope you guys like us. Buy merch because we want your money. Um,
It's all about the money.
it's all about the
Yeah,
money.
that's what
So
it's all about.
buy it off Bandcamp. Listen to it on Spotify. Buy merchandise. Um,
Buy,
Come
buy.
to
just
shows.
buy.
Come to
Open
shows
your
so you can
wallet
give
and give
us your
us
money in
money.
person.
Yeah, go on Bandcamp, buy all the merch. Go on Spotify, listen to all the music on
You
repeat,
should
even when
say
you're not
buy
even listening
all
to music.
the variants.
Yeah, I'll buy
Yeah,
all the
Yeah,
variants.
buy
Yeah,
all the variants.
yeah.
But
Just give
you
us.
don't want to have
everything.
like that. You don't want to be that guy that buys the whole five fucking variants and then they sell out and then he's like there and like, oh, I have all the variants. I have all the variants. And you're like, oh fuck
Hey,
you.
you know
And
what?
then
If I
he'll
ever meet that guy in person, I'll shake his hand and say, "Thank you for your money."
unless it's
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
it's
yeah,
an
yeah.
AI and he's trying to resell them.
Yeah, well,
For,
Oh
yeah.
man,
Hey, you
that's
know what?
happened to us. That's literally happened to us. Like in the not like us, but like one of my other bands, the AI got into his whole thing, and like AI's
Yeah.
it's a nuisance.
yes, that can suck. So you guys, it's been great chatting with you. And I enjoyed the music. It's pretty cool. So I'll post the link for people who are not going to be on the show but want to buy it can do so. So Until next time, couchers, the sector, the shield dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.